Yeah, I'm gonna put it up. I'm not very mechanically inclined when it comes to these things. So I just got back from a trip to London, and I have to admit it was really nice being back in a prudish culture. No, let me explain. We Americans and the Brits, we have certain social rules about PDA. You know what that is, yeah?
No, tell.
It's public displays of affection, defined as intimate acts in view of others. And, such as, holding hands, hugging, elderly man gingerly kissing his wife of 50 years on the forehead. It's nice, it's sweet to see these tender moments every so often. But of course people get a bit carried away. The Brits, when they have a few drinks in them, they tend to, the kissing involves a little bit of ass grabbage. But it's late at night, everyone's drunk, they're on their way home, they're going to go find some privacy. And before I moved here to Rome, I had certain ideas about Italian culture. I thought Italians were very traditional. It's a Catholic country, especially here in Rome. It's the home of the Pope. You've got nuns and monks living all over the place. And of course, you have the Colosseum to remind you of the ancient times. But then Constantine came and, brought in the church and the orgies disappeared, right? Not exactly. Now, I've seen things here in Rome that have been quite shocking. This PDA takes on a whole other meaning here, because it's not affection which is being displayed. PDA becomes PDFF, public displays of face fucking. Or sometimes just plain old PDF. Last summer I was standing on the Ponte Sisto, and I was waiting for some friends to come get me. It was a beautiful summer night, it was nice and warm, lots of people walking back and forth. And I ended up standing next to this couple that was full-on making out right next to me. Bodies pressed together, hands going everywhere. And they were doing the washing machine. Do you know what I mean by that?
No.
Well, you have the traditional kissing, the lips on lips, the old movie kiss, the Clark Gable. And then you've got the famous French kissing, with a little bit of tongue, sometimes a little bit of biting. You've got the which is fine. And then you've got the washing machine, which I'm pretty sure was invented by Italians. This is where two people just open their mouths up really wide as they'll go, and they lock their mouths together. They insert their tongues into each other's mouths and swirl them around for hours. So the couple next to me with the washing machine. I mean, it's not a pretty thing to look at, but it's the sound that it makes that is so unbelievably disgusting. It's this. Is this going to give a horny Ray of Charles an aneurysm? He thinks the seeing eye dog just brought him onto a porno set. So the sound is really starting to bug me. So I'm about to turn around and give him the old, get a room. But as I turn around to look at the couple, the man whose tongue is deeply inserted into this woman's mouth has his eyes wide open. And he's actually checking out all the other girls. I've never seen this before. So I'm looking at him, about to give him a get a room. And he gives me a wink. But see, I think that's the problem, is that Italians don't have a room to go to. It seems that people are very used to having sex in cars. I mean, if I grew up in New Jersey, had a car at 17, I did have sex in my car a couple of times as a teenager, you know, with the head popping out of the sunroof. But I would always park in a good private place, out in the woods somewhere, no one passing by. And I understand that privacy is hard to find here in Italy. There's a lot of people everywhere. And I actually did, I looked this up. It is legal by Italian law to have sex in a car, in a public space, so long as the windows are covered. What? Yeah, and I looked it up. I was in Naples a few months ago on the Via Petrarca. Any Napolitanos here? Yeah. Yeah? Do you know Via Petrarca? Yeah. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Thank you, darling. I appreciate that. There was an entire line of cars parked there on Via Petrarca, and they all had their windows covered up by newspapers. And so what they do is they crack the window a bit, stick the newspaper in on top, and then roll the window back up to keep the newspaper in place. I mean, it was very creative. Some people even brought tape. What I don't understand is, how do you have sex in an Italian car? Are you doing the Kama Sutra di Macchina? Or, you know, the smart car straddle? I mean, where does the gear shifter go? But, you know, Italians, they are very, very creative people, and some just don't give a shit. My first year in Rome, I was, you know, enjoying the city. I was out for an early afternoon stroll around the city center, a little passeggiata. And I found myself in the park under the Castle Sant'Angelo. You know, and the sun was shining and the pigeons were cooing. And there was a German family with mom, dad, and 3 little kids walking behind me. And I'm walking along and I see this couple on a park bench. And it looks like the woman's sitting on the man's lap. You know, I know it's a little more affectionate here. But I do notice there's a little bit of movement going on. Yeah. But you know, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're in a public park. The sun is shining. The birds are cooing. And the German family behind me, they're eating gelato. They're having a nice family day out. They bless their socks and sandals. But as I get closer, I do start noticing something a little strange. The woman's wearing a short pleated skirt, and she's got something lacy around her knees. And it looks like the man's trousers are a bit too long. They're kind of bunched up by his ankles. And I can see a little bit of movement going on. But I'm like, there's none 10 meters away. There's a family right here with 3 little kids behind me. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon in a public park. But you know, as I get closer,